So sorry. I was because a few times I went to school, like when people were freshmen, one of the comments was, I know, how are you keeping? It's not easy. Yeah, because the same thing happened to me.
लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगविधानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं नमोऽस्तुताय सहस्रमूर्ते सहस्रपादाक्षरोरुभावे सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। श्वेतवाहकर्ते वैवस्मूर्तेः अष्टावित्तं कलियुगे प्रथम प्रणेकनादेशेः ओंकारिराज्यकृतेः उग्रग्रामित्रमाशेः शुभे माशेः माक्षिष्माशेः कृष्णपक्षमूर्तित्यामश्यामधूनेः अमुर्दिनेः भृगुवार्वास्मितां अमुद्गोत्रोत्पन्नं भार्गव गोत्रोत्पन्नोऽहं अस्मत्पितो भवन्तेष्टि और दैविक क्रियाकर्म अधम गोत्राय भार्गव गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गव अंत्येष्टि और दैविक क्रियाकर्म अहम करिष्ये। ओ हरि ओम। ओम अस्य पुष्पशंकासं पीतवास्मदितं धर्मराजमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः। ओम हरि ओम। ओम विष्णुर्ब्रह्मोदितीयप्राहृदे श्री श्वेतवाहरस्वयंवस्वमन्त्रियष्टाविष्टमी कलियुगे कलिप्रथमसनेकनादेशेः अन्टारिराज्यकृतेः उग्रग्रामीस्तरमाशेः शुभे माशेः हे मार्षीष मासे कृष्णपक्षे अमुक्तेत्यामः त्रयोदश्यां संगृहे गुरुवारवासं भार्गववासन्तामः अमुगोत्रायः भार्गवगोत्रायः सुरेश भार्गवा नाम न्याया तस्मात् और दैविक क्रिया नित्य यथाशक्ति ही गौदान निमित्ते दक्षिणादानश्च अहम करिष्ये मोक्षदेहि जगन्नाथः मोक्षदेहि जगन्नाथः। ओम हरि ओम नमोस्तंताय सहस्रमूर्ते सहस्रपादाक्षरोर्भावे सहस्रनामे पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटि युगधारिणे नमः। ओम हरि ओम ओम विष्णोर ब्रह्मो द्वितीयकाः श्री श्वेतवार्हकल्पेः वैवस्मन्त्रेः अष्टावित्तमेः कल्युगे कलिप्रसंतृणैकणादेशेः ओण्डारिराज्यकृतेः उग्रग्रामे श्रममाशेः शुभे माशेः माघशीर्षमाशेः कृष्णपक्षे अमुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां स्नवने गुरुवारवासन्तामः अमुगोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः नाम न्यायः तस्मात् और देवी क्रिया कृते निमित्ते पिंडं मर्यादीयते तमोपतिष्ठे तामः। ओम हरि ओम ओम हरि ओम ओम अद्य अमुगोत्रे भार्गवः गोत्रे सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतः पिण्डवृतो पिण्डस्थाने अत्राने विस्मृते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। ओम हरि ओम ओम अध्यमुगोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतमृत्युस्थान निमित्तः कशवो नाम एषः पिण्डस्ते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। श्री श्वेतवारा कृते वैवस्मन्त्रि अष्टाविष्टमी कलयुगे कलिप्रसंचरणैकणादेशे ओण्टादिराज्यकृते उग्रग्रामे स्तममाशे शुभे आशीष माशे कृष्णपक्षे मुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां स्नवनेः गुरुवारवासन्तामः अमुगोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतः सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेत मृत्युस्थाने मृतशको पिण्डशावो नाम एष पिण्डस्ते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। ओम हरि ओम ओम पिण्डो ओम अद्यमुगोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः प्रेत मृत्युस्थाने शवनमे नामिने पिण्डे प्रयत्वजनेनं ते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। ओम महाविष्णोर ब्रह्मोऽप्येह प्राहर्दे श्री श्वेतवारः कृते वैवस्मन्त्रेष्टाविष्टमेः कलियुगे कलिप्रसंचरणैकणादेशे ओण्टादिराज्यकृते उग्रग्रामे स्तममाशेः शुभे माशेः मार्गशीर्षमासे कृष्णपक्षे अमुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां स्नवनेः गुरुवारवासन्तामः अद्यमुगोत्रः भार्गवः गोत्रः सुरेश भार्गवः प्रेतगृहद्वारे पान्थान्नाम्नि पिण्डस्थाने अत्राव नेक्ष्यते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। ओम विष्णोर ब्रह्मोद्दीपाहृदे श्री श्वेतवाराकल्पेः वैवस्मन्त्रिः अष्टाविष्टमीः कलयुगे कलिप्रसंचरणेः गणादेशेः ओण्टादिराज्यकृतेः उक्लग्रामे स्तममाशेः शुभे माशेः मार्गशीर्षमाशेः कृष्णपक्षे अमुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां स्नवनेः गुरुवारवासन्तामः अमुगोत्रः भार्गवः गोत्रः सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतः गृहद्वारे पन्थानाम् एष पिण्डस्ते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः। वैवस्वंत्रेष्टाविष्टमेः कलयुगे कलिप्रथम प्रणयगणादेशे ओंटारि राज्यकृतेः ओक्लुग्रामीत्यमुमाशेः शुभे माशेः हे मार्गशीर्ष मासे कृष्ण पक्षे अमुक्तिथ्यामः अमुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां पुनेः ध्रुवार्वासन्तामः अमुक्गोत्रः भार्गवः गोत्रः सुरेश भार्गवः नामः प्रेतः चतुष्पथे खेचरनामिने पिण्डस्थाने खेचरणा नाम एष पिण्डस्थे मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः ॐ ओम विष्णोर्विष्णोर्विष्णोर्ब्रह्मोत्रि प्राहृदे श्रीश्वेतवाहकल्पेः वैवस्वंत्रेष्टाविष्टमी कलियुगे कलिप्रथमनिगणादेशेः भण्डारि राज्यकृतेः ओक्लुग्रामे मासेः शुभे मासेः मार्गशीर्ष मासेः कृष्णपक्षे अमुक्तिथ्यामः त्रयोदश्यां भूनेः गुरुवारवासन्तामः अमुक्गोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः नाम्नः प्रेतविश्रामे भूतनाम्ने पिण्डे प्रेतज्ञेयं ते मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः ॐ पिण्डोपरिः स्नानं जलम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि स्नानियं 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 जलम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम हरि ओम ओम पिंडोपरि ओम पिंडोपरि पूर्णसूत्रम् उपतिष्ठितामः 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 ओम पिंडोपरि ओम पिंडोपरि चंदनम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि चंदनम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि चंदनम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि चंदनम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि अक्षतिलानि उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि ओम पिंडोपरि तिलम् उपतिष्ठितामः 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 ओम पिंडोपरि पुष्पम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि पुष्पम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि पुष्पम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि ओम पिंडोपरि दीपम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि दीपम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरि दीपम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम अनाथ निधनो देव शंख चक्र गदाधर अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः योध्या मथुरा माया काशी कांचीवंतिकाः पुरीद्वारावती गेया सप्तेता मोक्षदायकः ओम अस्ति पुष्पशंकाशं पीतवा स्मरितं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम ओम गंगेश्च जमुनेश्च गोदावरी सरस्वती सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलस्मिन् सन्निधौ कुरुः ओम गंगे यमुनेश्च गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलस्मिन् सन्निधौ कुरुः ओम श्री चंदनम खंडनम दिव्यं गंधाढ्यं सुमनोहरं विलेपनं सुरश्री चंदनं प्रतिगृहीतां गंधं समर्पयामि ओम व्योमभ्यः स्वाहा ओम ओम लोमभ्यः स्वाहा ओम लोहिताय स्वाहा ओम लोहिताय स्वाहा ओम एदभ्यो स्वाहा ओम एदभ्यः स्वाहा ओम आयगुंसेभ्यः स्वाहा ओम गुंहिसेभ्यः स्वाहा ओम सनाभ्यः स्वाहा ओम सनाभ्यः स्वाहा ओम स्वाहस्तभ्यः स्वाहा ओम अज्जभ्यः स्वाहा ओम अज्जभ्यः स्वाहा ओम रेतसे स्वाहा ओम पायवे स्वाहा ओम आयसाय स्वाहा ओम प्रायसाय स्वाहा ओम सयासाय स्वाहा ओम व्यासाय स्वाहा ओम शुचये स्वाहा ओम शोचते स्वाहा ओम शोचमानाय स्वाहा ओम शोकाय स्वाहा ओम तपसे स्वाहा ओम तप्यते स्वाहा ओम तप्यमानाय स्वाहा ओम तप्तताय स्वाहा ओम घर्माय स्वाहा ओम निष्कृताय स्वाहा ओम प्राश्चित्ताय स्वाहा ओम बीजखाय स्वाहा ओम यमाय स्वाहा ओम यमाय स्वाहंतकाय स्वाहा ओम ऋतुभ्ये स्वाहा ओम ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा ओम ब्रह्महत्यायै स्वाहा ओम विश्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो स्वाहा ओम धावा पृथिव्यां गुं स्वाहा ओम हरि ओम ओम अनाथ निधनो देव शंख चक्र गदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम हरि ओम अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः ओम अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अस्ति पुष्पशङ्काशं पीतवास्मरितं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम हरि ओम ओम हरि ओम शांताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिवृद्धानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भव्यहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं ओम अस्य पुष्पशङ्काशं पीतवास्मृतं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अस्ति पुष्पशङ्काशं पीतवास्मृतं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अस्ति पुष्पशङ्काशं पीतवास्मर्पितं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम अस्ति पुष्पशङ्काशं पीतवास्मर्पितं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः नमोस्तुन्ताय सहस्रमूर्ति सहस्रपादाक्षिरोरुभावे सहस्रनाम्नि पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः ओम हरि ओम ओम नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेतः ओम अनाथनिधनो देवशङ्खचक्रगदाधरः अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः ओम हरि ओम ओम त्वं मृतगतजीवे त्वं लोकपरिपालकः उक्तसंहारतं वेदनं स्वर्गं मृतं नयः ओम कृत्वा तु दुष्करं कर्म जानतः पापजानतः मृत्युकालवशं प्राप्तं नरं पंच नत्वात्मः धर्माधर्म समायुक्तं लोभमोह समावृतं देहं स्वर्गात्राणि दिव्यान् लोकान् सगच्छतु ओम हरि ओम ओम कृत्वा तु दुष्करं कर्म जानता वापजातः मृत्युकलावंशं पाप्तं नर्म पंचत्वमागतं धर्माधर्म समायुक्तं लोभमोह समावृतं देहं द्रवात् दिव्यान् लोकान् गच्छतु ओम हरि ओम भारते श्री श्वेत बाधा कल्पे विष्णुमंत्रेष्टाविष्टमेः कलयुगे कलि प्रसंत्र नैप्रणादेशे अंटारि राज्यकृतेः ओ कुलग्रामेक्तमाशे शुभे माशे माघशीर्षमाशे कृष्णपक्षे मुक्तित्या महाद्रवदश्यां गुरुवारवासन्ताम अमुक गोत्राय भार्गवः गोत्राय सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतः अस्ति संचयनिमित्तकः पिण्डस्थाने अमुक गोत्रः भार्गवः गोत्रः सुरेश भार्गवः नाम प्रेतः मोक्षकामः अस्ति संचयनामित्त एष पिण्डस्ते मया धीयते तवोपतिष्ठितामः ॐ पिण्डोपरिः ओम पिंडोपरिः स्नानियं जलमुपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरिः स्नानियं जलमुपतिष्ठितामः ओम हरि ओम ओम पिंडोपरिः पुरुषसूत्रम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरिः पुष्पम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरिः तिलम् ओम पिंडोपरिः तिलम् उपतिष्ठितामः ओम पिंडोपरिः स्थानिमुपतिष्ठितामः ओम निधनो देव शंख चक्र गदाधर अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः अस्ति पुष्पशंकाशं पीतवासमृतं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भव अयोध्या मथुरा माया काशी कांची अवंतिकाः पुरीद्वारावती गेया सप्तेता मोक्षदायकाः ओम अनाथ निधनो देव शंख चक्र गदाधर अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्षः प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः अस्ति पुष्पशंकाशं पीतवासं धर्मराज नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेतमोक्षप्रदो भवः अयोध्या मथुरा माया काशी कांची अवंतिकाः पुरीद्वारावती गेया सप्तेता मोक्षदायकः
share any stories or say a few words about Papa, please feel free to go up and
Go
say.
up first.
Sure.
Thank you everybody for coming today. It's a real testament to Papa that all of you are here. celebrate his life. As many of you know, Papa was a very gentle soul, full of humility and a generous spirit. He had a way of making everyone feel welcome, always ensuring there was a drink in hand and a plate full of his delicious food. Today I'd like to share 2 stories that stand out to me and capture the essence of who he was. I have a passion for food. I love to cook, and I also love to eat. When Tarek and I first started dating, I couldn't wait for the incredible meals Papa would make. The one that stands out the most is a dish that we all fondly refer to as Papa's chicken. It was always a little different every time, but it was absolutely delicious. You could see that Papa poured his love into every meal that he prepared. His joy came from watching others enjoy his food, and he always encouraged second and third helpings. The second memory I'd like to share is actually a story I heard from Ajay, who's Ina's husband, during a visit to Jaipur a few years ago. He told me that how when he and Ina first got married, Papa was the one who truly made him feel welcome into the family. Papa invited Ajay over for a session, quote unquote, which involved a bottle of whiskey and perhaps a few cigarettes. Ajay told me how that evening completely broke the ice and made him feel like he was part of the family. Papa's ability to connect with people and make them feel valued was truly exceptional. His warmth, generosity, and spirit will always stay with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll try. Well, firstly, thank you for coming. I'm sure he feels all of your love. So I'm gonna probably end up reading most of this because, you know how it goes. Papa always greeted everyone with a huge smile. If he knew you or not, didn't matter. He showed us all unconditional love. He was always ready to listen, to understand what you were saying, and he was very patient and offered always nice, gentle advice. He was a gentle soul who was always positive and took everything in stride, no matter how difficult it was for him. So what's really imprinted on me are his phrases. Be careful, drive safely. It's always, and I say that to the kids all the time. Now you know where I get it from. The other thing that Papa always did was he would put his hand on your head when he saw you. Whether he was meeting you or if you were leaving, he would put his hand on his head as blessings to you to go safely and to see you again soon. What I envision for Papa is now he's free of any suffering, free of any physical limitations, and he's traveling wherever he wanted to go that maybe he didn't get to in this lifetime. Eating as many oysters as he could, I guess. Loved oysters. I don't know how many of you knew that. And has reunited with all of his loved ones that he has lost. So a few daily reminders for me of Papa are always check the weather. Don't forget the wind chill because that makes it colder. You need a hat and gloves and everything possible to stay warm. Double, triple check the iron, the stove, the doors, the lights, all that stuff before you leave. And I guess I get this from him. If someone else loads the dishwasher, you got to go back and reload it. There's always room for more. So I do that a lot. Anyway, he was loved tremendously by everyone, all of us, and everyone he met. So Papa, we love you. We will definitely miss you every day. I guess till we meet again. Okay.
One thing has changed is that I need glasses now to read. I'm gonna keep this short because I don't think I can even get through most of this, but anyway. Sorry.
Okay.
My papa, Suresh, Chuni, was a kind, caring, gentle man who was so generous with his love and time. He took care of everyone around him and was always ready to help anyone, anytime. Most of us here have been on the receiving end of his generosity, whether it was a ride to or from the GO station, babysitting, recipes, handyman services, and the list goes on. Papa made me sandwiches for lunch when I was at George Brown College and when I moved back home for a few years. He was so patient, even though I was so picky. I didn't want butter. I didn't like brown bread, etc., etc. So he had a lot of thinking to do when he was making me sandwiches. There was so much more than that he did for me and for everybody else here. And I pray his soul has found peace now. We miss him dearly. And I'm sure that you all do as well.
Anybody else?
When I think of Uncle Chimmy, I think of his warmth, his welcoming nature, and the loving way he would bless me on the top of my head when I would say hello or goodbye every single time I saw him. I always appreciated how he would take the time to ask me what was new in my life, and he'd always find a way to fit in a joke into his responses so that I would laugh. He always wore a smile to every family gathering, no matter his health or what he was going through. And I always admired his strength and perseverance to face every challenge that life gave him, always with a smile. His presence, warmth, and generosity in our family will be greatly missed.
I just want to know. I just want to narrate an incident a day in the life of
This is an incident, a day in the life of Chuni Bhargava. It was in the 80s in Dubai when Val and Chuni got their first maid, Florina, from Goa, India. She was good and hardworking and spoke a little English, but made herself understood. One day, Val and Chuni invited our uncle and Fly over for dinner. I happened to be there, too. Florina cooked a lot of dishes, but Chuni ordered his favorite Lebanese kebabs and hummus. We all finished eating, but Chuni was still at the table. He asked Florina for more pita. She replied, "Enough, Baba." Chuni was taken aback. He asked one more time and got the same answer. "Enough, Baba." But he went to the kitchen and could not find any pita. He asked Florina again, where is the pita? And she replied, "Enough, Baba." He then realized that she meant that the pita was over. We laugh about this till this day, whenever we used to talk to Chuni. We will miss Chuni dearly. We all loved him for his help and advice and for his fine sense of humor. He could even laugh at himself. Rest in peace, dear Chuni. We love you.
Chunni would always say,
These are his
Buddhu hai, Sala Badmash, one Sala.
We will always remember Chuni. We will never forget him.
We haven't written anything down because I just like to think. So many thoughts came into my mind, you know, like years ago. First of all, I was the first to meet Chuni after Bhargava, of course. So I'm special in that way. I'm the only one who can call him Jijaji. And I remember Bhargava used to thank me actually because we went to do a Jaipur first. Stanton and I, of course, my dad had gone first, and then afterwards Bhargava came. But she was lucky where she worked, and she met Chuni. So that was my special thing. And in Dubai, he helped Elias. Tell about how he helped you with the...
Bhargava was kind enough to send me a visa, so when I landed there, he was my GPS to the different banks. And then he took me first to the Ministry of Finance where they are big paymasters. So the only question was, do you speak Arabic? So the question ended there only. Then he took me to Bank of Oman. So the guy says, he asked me one question, and the way I answered him, he didn't want to ask me any further questions. And if you want to know what it was, he asked me, what is the stale check? So I told him it is a check in circulation for more than 6 months, corresponding date.
all of you.
So you know a little bit of banking. So then he says our general manager is on honeymoon and he will be back in 4 days. So I am waiting for 4 days to get a reply that I have been employed by Bank of Oman. So when we came home, Papa puts the TV on, and a little later there is an advertisement, Bank of Oman, Paiso ka tufan. So I was hoping there was a big sign-up bonus for me. But anyway, life was much better there than anywhere else.
So till then,
Mother
you worked
India.
at Bank of Oman all the time?
Yeah, 14 years.
They changed their name, but it was,
Yeah,
it still worked for them.
It has nothing to do with Oman. Then they changed it to Mashriq Bank, and Google said to say this to me that Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yeah, yes. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Means,
And of course, the same things when we came to Canada. He would call us every morning. The weather is this, you know. Make sure you wear that. Make sure you wear this. It's going to be snow, cold, and this and that. And then, like Valerie didn't know this, I just told her yesterday that when he used to drop Valerie at the, we rented at Clarkson for a year, and I was working in Oakville. Papa would Chuni would drop her at the station, and then he would take me to my job at Dogal Drive. But then one more thing I didn't tell you. Okay. One day of course, he can't tell you all the good things he has done, no? Because we all know how many good things he has continuously. But that day, a few days I was taking the bus and train and coming back home. I also didn't think anything. Then one day he said to me, "You want me to pick you up in the evening?" So I'm thinking, yeah, because he said, "Anyway, I'm going to pick Vare up at the Clarkson." So I said, "Oh, okay." So then for a few weeks while I worked there, until we got our car, every day on time he would be, and never had to just think, "Oh, is he going to come?" I would go down and he would be there. So thank you, Jimmy, so much for all the help that you gave us. And of course for so many other things that every day, and like you all said, the blessing was always there. And always, I can't even think of one time that I heard him talk loud. He was always soft-spoken, and whatever he told you was softly and so kindly. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anil and Charu. Anil, my husband, and I met Suresh ji and Mallory ji in the fall of 2016. I think I got the year right, but through the Toronto Bhargava Sabha. I was a Bhargava before I got married, so we met. And we then discovered that we were related, as Suresh ji's sister was married to my mom's youngest chacha, paternal uncle, for those who don't know what chacha is, and had known my mom as a child. So basically, by relation, Suresh ji is my grand uncle, but we've always called them Suresh ji and Valerie ji because they are so youthful and young at heart, and more like friends. We have spent many beautiful moments together, the most memorable being our trip to their cottage in Kawartha Lakes. Suresh ji and Valerie ji were most welcoming, kind and gracious to invite us along with my mom and our puppy Teddy. We all had a lot of fun and a wonderful weekend with them in their beautiful cottage. Mummy always looked forward to meeting Suresh ji and Valerie ji and thoroughly enjoyed their company, and so did we, especially his wicked sense of humor. He would often tell us about very funny anecdotes, especially from Jaipur when he first met Valerie, and how the whole romance went about.
On his bicycle, right?
Meeting Suresh always brought back childhood memories for my mom, and they would reminisce the good old days. She was really saddened to hear of Suresh's passing away and sends her heartfelt condolences. I also spoke to Vishwanath Bhargav, my Phupaji, which is my paternal aunt's husband, who lives in England and knew Suresh well. We had a long chat yesterday, and he was also fondly remembering Suresh. He was a senior in school in Jaipur and also had very fond memories of him. And this is what he had to say. So quoting what he said, Suresh was in St. Xavier's, Jaipur at the same time as I was. I could not attend his wedding, though I was invited, because I was getting married 2 days later, and I could not get out of the house after my lagan. So yeah, those were the rules. While Madhu and I were traveling to Delhi on Emirates from London, we were given a stopover in Dubai. Next morning, I looked up Bhargav names in the local telephone directory, picked up a random number and called, and it was the Suresh I was looking for. He said he will pick us up in the evening for dinner. Then soon after he called and said, "No, actually I'll pick you up earlier and take you for a city tour." And that was really nice, and they really felt very looked after. And I tried to meet him again, he says, on my visit to Toronto in 2014, but it did not happen for some reason. He will always be remembered for his kindness and warmth, unquote. Over the years, we have seen Suresh struggle with his health issues and setbacks, but he always came out a winner. He was a fighter, always cheerful with a smile on his face. And Valriji was always by his side, encouraging him and nurturing him. We are very saddened to see him go and will miss him immensely. The void will be filled for years to come. Anil and Suresh shared their passion of cooking and shared recipes often. He too is very devastated by the loss. And I'm glad Suresh asked us to make egg curry, which he was craving. So at least we have that. I mean, we were able to do something for him. May Sureshi's noble soul rest in eternal peace. We pray to God to give his family the strength at this very difficult time to bear this huge loss. Om Shanti.
And it's just not recipe, it's also reloading the dishwashers. That we share in common.
Instruction.
And Balriji, you have been Florence Nightingale for Suresh.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Flavian. In case there are many who don't know me, I'm Valerie's youngest brother. Many of you may not know that Chuni was from Jaipur, Rajasthan. We called him the Maharaja of Jaipur. But unlike other Maharajas and kings, Chuni was very down to earth, kind and unassuming. When we first arrived in Canada, we stayed with Val and Chuni. Always, Chuni was most helpful, getting us settled, driving us to get our health cards and bank accounts, etc. He helped us understand the way directions work here, because we would say left or right, turn left, turn right, but here we had to say go north, go south, go east, west. So that was a little difficult for us in the initial stages, but then we figured that out with his help. And he was our, like Elias said, he was our GPS. Before GPS got popular, actually. He taught us how to read the map books and plan our trips around the city. So we had to figure out, he would go through the maps and tell us, okay, this is how you get to this place and from there to there. So, and he always gave us advice, like Darika said, be careful. Especially during the winter months, to look for snow, look for black ice on the roads, and he reminded us to have washer fluids in our cars, a snow brush, jumper cables, and take every precaution, obviously. We'll obviously miss his endearments. One was, of course, his blessings, but also Sala Badmash and Aadmi hai ke ganchar kare. And of course, another thing I'm so grateful for is he put in a real good word for me with Anaita's mom when we first met her, which actually sealed the deal. So she really looked up. She really looked up to him, and when he said good things about me, she was really okay. He's probably a good boy. So, and thanks for that, Chini. Of course, we love you, and we. Please rest in peace, Chuni. We will always miss you.
I did not know Chuni as long as a lot of people in this room, but I came to know him after coming to Canada, which is now 25 years. But of course, you don't need 25 years to know him. His gentleness, kindness of spirit, tolerance, respect, just showed through. Like Flavin said, every time he went to India, he made it a point to visit my mom. He didn't have to. He absolutely did not have to, but he did. And she just adored him. So much so that she told my daughter some years ago, Zara, get yourself a nice man like Uncle Chuni. And with my mom saying that, there is nothing else you can say about him, in my opinion. His unshakable faith, and in these 25 years, every physical challenge that he's had, I've never heard him complain even once about anything. So, rest in peace, Jimmy. Thank you.
I have such fond memories of Chuni as a kind, gentle, and helpful person. When we came to Canada, he was the person who drove us around everywhere, whether it was to my place of work, whether it was for groceries, at just any time. He was always around, ever ready to be of assistance, saying there is a solution to every problem. He had many outstanding qualities, but ones that stood out for me were he always lent a listening ear. He always stopped to listen. He offered help, even sometimes when he was not asked to help. And he bore his pain and sufferings with a big smile, never complaining. Rest in peace, dear Chuni. You will always be remembered. I wish to add a few words from my son, Warren. I will miss Uncle Chuni's stories, his cooking, and his thoughtful behavior, and the smile he always had, even when things were not going well for him. He was ever willing to help. His kindness, his warmth was irreplaceable, and the whole family was going to miss him. Rest in peace, too.
Hi everyone, I'm Valerie's cousin Keith. I met Chuni fairly late, though the rest of my brothers and sisters met him much earlier. We were cousins living next door in Bandra first, and Chuni and Valerie, when they got married, came to our house in Bandra. I was not there, but I heard so many stories about them. You must meet Chuni, you must meet Chuni. Even my dad used to tell me, you should meet Chuni. So my dad would tell me that, and I never got a chance. Somehow I was in boarding school, I was away at college, and I didn't meet him until we went to Dubai and met him. So finally I met Chuni. And from that time till now, that hand on the head of Chuni's stayed with me up till today. I can't think of something more pleasant or happy for me when I got that blessing from him. Looking forward, what do I do tomorrow? If I can be half the man in love that Chuni was, that would be an achievement for me. That's all I can say today. Thank you.
Thank you. One of my fondest memories of Uncle Chuni was when we first moved to Canada. I think it was October 2006. And we stayed with Auntie Valerie and Uncle Chuni at their old house. And Shellen and I, we didn't go to school at that point because we weren't staying anywhere yet. So all we really wanted to do was sit in the basement and watch TV. There were new cartoons or whatnot. And I remember one day Uncle Chuni came down and he looked at us, what are you doing? Come on up. He took us up and it was fall, so we went to the front lawn and we raked all the leaves with him. And to this day, I think about that every time it's fall, every time I have to rake the leaves. It's one of my happiest memories of fall, one of my first memories of fall, and I don't know, I still enjoy raking leaves. So. All the bad words in Hindi I know because of Uncle Chuni as well. Thank you for everything that you did for us.
Chuni, I miss you. Every time I go to Shirdi, I have a lot of memories of Chuni because he was a person from Dubai, from overseas. He was the only one who came over at our wedding, even though he was sick. Just after his first stroke, he came, he helped us through our wedding. He stood on behalf of me from my side, brought all the baratis and the garlands, and he was just there for everything. He every time he came to India, he came and he made sure he took me along with them to Shirdi Baba and told me all the things and the faith that he had in Sai Baba, with all his everything, good, bad, everything. He says, my Baba, my Baba. He had that faith which was so deep that there was nothing beyond that. It was all Baba. And he was just the kindest, nicest person I've ever met. His blessings we miss each time, whether you wished him coming, going, and everything else, everyone else said is so true of him. I'm so I bid him goodbye, a sad heart, but happy that he's free. And he'll watch you over, Valerie. Take care. Om Shanti. You say?
I am Jason, and one of Valerie's brothers, towards the end, towards the bottom rather. When Valerie got married, it was the first wedding in our family from all the siblings, and of course Jimmy being the oldest in the family for us at that time. He never made us feel or inferior. He treated us always with respect and as an equal. So we have never spoken at a funeral before, so yesterday when Valerie sent a message saying you can say something at the funeral, I quickly Googled up and see what can you say at the funeral. And found, of course, I knew the word before, the eulogy, but I found the meaning of the word is from Greek language and it means praise. And so I said, well, that's easy enough. And we can praise Jimmy for everything that he was. And in all the probably 53 years that I knew him, I never once saw him lose his cool or get angry. Even I remember the day when he came to help me at my new house when we had just moved in, and he had parked in the driveway, and I had to go to get something from the store, and I backed out my car straight into his new BMW. I still never saw him get angry. So, I was terrified at first, but he took it so well.
But he reminded you often about
Sara Badmash.
Yes, I'm one of the Badmashes. We'll always remember his fond words, and I'll miss his blessings and his thread and tika on Diwali. And of course I know he is in peace with Sai Baba. Rest in peace, Shuni.
He also, when Jason showed interest or was wanting to, we had to go around. Chuni, I don't know if you know, Jason told me when I said, oh my God, I don't know because I'm of the Hindu faith as Chuni and Jason from the Christian faith, and I said, oh my God, my parents always, I don't know how to tell them, they always said, okay, you marry anyone. And but I don't know how to break to them. And he says, don't worry, and I said, what about your family? Will they accept me? He said, oh, my sister's married to a Hindu. So that was one thing that gave us way into speaking to our parents about the family accepting me, and of course they welcomed us graciously, and thanks to Chuni showing us the way. Thank you. Rest in peace. Om Shanti.
I'm going to take just a minute. I knew Chuni very few years after coming to Canada. You'll have heard all great things about him, and that's exactly the man he is. I always feel there's a reason why we cross paths with people in our life, and I was so glad to have met him. But I want to take this opportunity to thank his family for sharing him with us, with all of us, and the memories we have. It's because they allowed him to be part of our life and create such an impact. So thank you. Thank you to all of you for sharing that with us. Take care.
So I'm Rohan. I'm Auntie Valerie's nephew. I'm representing my dad and other folks in the U.S. who couldn't come. So, I mean, I came today yesterday on the busiest travel day of the year in the U.S. Because obviously Uncle Chuni is a very important person to our family. I've known him for 4 decades, so I have 4 stories. So I don't remember him in Dubai, but I remember meeting him after the stroke, I think when I was 7, and you come to the US. And I couldn't quite understood. I mean, he's a little bit of an inexplicable person in general, but I think particularly then, he was having a very hard time, pronouncing words. And so Auntie Valerie, I think you told him, well, why don't you read with Rohan's books and try to pronounce the words that he is, in his books. And my favorite book at the time was, I think it was like 1990 or so, was an encyclopedia of dinosaurs. So, the words I was trying to pronounce were Tyrannosaurus and Brontosaurus. So I remember, now reflecting back on it and how difficult it must have been at that time to try and relearn, English. But he did not get frustrated. I remember he really tried, and he was very patient to try and understand it and took it very serious. And then, of course, when you guys moved to Canada after us, so we were here for 3 years in Canada. And then, of course, my brother and I used to love to imitate him because he's a very imitatable person. And so we would always say, Salamanmash. And then, of course, one time we went to India and met Auntie Rita's mother, who speaks no English. And we were going to tell her the only Hindi words we knew. And she had such a face. And then, so I lived here for 3 months when I worked at Citibank. And I lived with Auntie Valerie and Uncle Chuni then. And so I tasted his special curry because, it was a little bit of a shock because they have a little bit of a different diet than we do, or they don't cook very often and stuff like that. And I was a little bit, very privileged because it was my first job. I was like 20 years old at the time. And so, not quite as particular as Deepika, but when you made the curry, I had just never been used to eating curry without rice. I could not do it. Because I think you guys only eat the roti or whatever. So you dusted off the old rice cooker, which didn't work. And then I think next day he bought a new rice cooker for me for the trip. But it took it took 60 minutes, I think. I don't know what rice cooker you And of course everyone here knows it doesn't take 60 minutes to cook rice. And I remember the first time we just waited endlessly for this rice cooker. So I can't remember how it resolved, but I think he would cook rice in advance. He was making curry. And then, so, as a thank you, years later, when I had some more money, I bought him, an expensive bottle of scotch. And I can't, someone may correct me about this, but I recall I bought him a Blue Label scotch. Because, he loved scotch, but he never really tried expensive ones. And I think I came back on my next trip and I asked him, well, did you try the scotch? And I don't think he did. I'm saving it. So I think I must have said
Lasted 5 or 6 years.
okay, so this is true. I think I said to him, like, what are you saving? But I believe then he did open it one day, but he was like, I'll open it if you have it with me. And then, so I think one day we were drinking scotch with his brother, I believe was there. And so we were drinking, and then, so that's where I heard all the stories about him as his family, the mayor of Jaipur, and that they had, you know, his dad, I think, worked with the royal family there, and all these things. And I never heard in the 30, 40 years all those stories, so that's my last, you know, memory of him. And then I was reading, you know, doing a little research, because I was told that I suggested strongly that I should speak. And so, yeah, I read a poem today, which I thought was, you know, encapsulated him, by Robert Burns. An honest man here lies at rest, the friend of man, the friend of truth, the friend of age, and the guide of youth. Few hearts like his with virtue warmed, few heads with knowledge so informed. If there's another in this world, he lives in bliss. If there is none, he made the best of this.
Thank you.
The condolences, and thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shifali, and I'm Chacha's niece. So he's my father's brother. I'm going to read out because my mind is not really working. Okay. Well, on behalf of the entire Bhargava family in India, I'd like to say that we are devastated and heartbroken. Chacha had been so resilient and brave in the past, and despite the recent turn of events, we all were just hoping and waiting for him to come back home again from the hospital. Chachi, Radhika, Deepika, we are all joined in unison in our loss. For those of you who don't know what unison means, it is an inside joke. Chacha loved to say this word again and again. In the words of my father, at a very early age, Chuni was sent to St. Mary's in Bombay, and after several years, we both returned to Jaipur where we joined St. Xavier's together. Chuni had strong emotional ties to our family, and I fondly remember the great family reunions at a paternal home in Jaipur where we all gathered from different cities. Chuni and Valerie would come from Dubai, bringing joy and warmth to our gatherings. Chuni had a heart of gold and was incredibly kind and helpful. His presence gave us comfort and my daughter the courage to migrate to Canada by herself in 2017. That's me, the daughter. He and Valerie were her local guardians and supported her in countless ways as she established her life there. Rita and I are grateful to them. I, Shifali, the daughter, met Chacha last on October 27th, I think, with my elder sister Ruby, who was visiting from Pittsburgh. I went out with my aunt, with Chachi and my brother-in-law to the lake, giving Chacha and Ruby some private time. They reconnected seamlessly over their spiritual beliefs and inspiring personal miracle stories. Later that night, over dinner, Ruby shared how Chacha spoke with such warmth and emotion about Valerie Chachi's unwavering support and care over the years, praising her constantly. Chacha often referred to me playfully as their stepdaughter, and I adored it as a term of endearment. To me, being his stepdaughter meant taking steps upward to become a better version of myself, a good person, like he was. Chuni Chacha and my father looked so alike, and not just in appearance. They both guided, corrected, and advised me with the same love and care. When engaged in some heated discussion, or in general, I would sometimes call him Papa by mistake, like, please Papa, just let it be. And he would warmly say, well, you can call me Papa, no problem. Chuni Chacha's IQ was par excellence. To share one small example, silly example, when I moved into my new home in Mississauga, he would often offer his handyman services to help me in making my bare apartment a home. One time, sorry, I'm just shaking a little bit. Wrong in my leg. Chacha, one time, single-handedly took on the task of assembling my bed, my king-size bed, while Chachi and I attempted to put together a simple IKEA drawer. However, while Chacha took his time reading the manual, choosing the correct tools and nails, he delivered a perfectly assembled bed. Whereas Chachi and I assembled the drawer completely backwards, without even realizing. I mean, we didn't even realize it was backwards until Chacha reviewed our artwork, leading to a fit of giggles, Chachi and I, and creating a core memory. Chacha's spirit will live on in our hearts forever. His legacy of warmth, generosity, and unwavering love will continue to inspire me and guide me in all my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming up and sharing all those wonderful memories, Papa. Before we go downstairs, if everybody would like to come to the front and place a few petals on Papa before we rest him, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. I'll do it. Just for coffee. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I know. You could have gotten out and told the chicken story. He is here. I don't know where he is, but he's here. You have to bring the dog and find a babysitter. He's had problems dealing with that. Yeah. It's okay. Thank you so much for coming. It's really means a lot. Thank you. Just tea and coffee downstairs, yeah. Can you take one of the sparklers? Yeah, please. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for your
Thank you. Thank you. Please take some flowers. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. You can take one of these too. Just put it in the basket. It's like a sparkler. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming, guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Only me left, right?
No, and there's a few people. No, you can take as much as you like, please.
Oh, they smell good.
Take the sparkler too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we like this one?
No, you just put it in. Just put it in, yeah. Yeah, with the body, yeah.
Take for Sherilyn and Rennie.
Yeah, please, take it. There's so many.
Mom and dad love it.
They're okay, they're in Spain right now. They wanted to be here, but they wanted to fly home. I told them not to.
Yeah.
I just said, just watch the live stream.
Yeah, and then you know what, we will get company when everything settles down.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
tell Mom I asked about it.
I will. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you where.
Yeah, they're in Spain. They're really hoping that, you know,
Oh, it's the
Will come
you
back
would
in
come back
time,
in
yeah.
time, yeah. That was a great story you told. Hi, Susie. Thank you so much.
Good job, of course.
Thank you. Hi, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica, for coming. Thank you for the gift that you sent to the house, too.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks. So you just take some flowers and a sparkler and just put it in the casket.
What do you do with the sparkler?
Well, it's going to be cremated. It'll just be. Just, so Hindu, I guess. Custom. I didn't know about that until today.
You sound like a lovely.
Yeah, he was so good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah,
But you know, it was a common theme.
Yeah.
This gentle slide, you know, when Tara leaves the hotel, she like checks it 4 times.
There was a few things were like her.
It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Check. Yeah.
In a Niagara Falls hotel room, like.
Wait on the door.
I did that as leaving coming here yesterday or like last night.
Hi, it was a very nice speech, Holly. Thank you so much. It was very touching. Thank you.
So what is
Just flowers and sparkler. That's it. That's nice. Take the sparkler too. Thanks. The kids need to come and do this too.
I have to put other back here, I totally forgot.
It should close. Okay. It should be okay.
No, they said don't keep opening to that because
Oh, right. Okay, no problem.
so we have to ask them.
Is there two? There's one at the bottom. Is there one at the Yeah, I can see one there, but what's in the middle? What's on the Yeah. I did think quickly because the stick wasn't having pictures.
Anyway, we'll get together on that evening and have a laugh. Remembering all the good But all of this I'm hearing from Mary is all in yeah. Unless I'm in your app, my mind, I forgot to
Well, I think this is the beginning of it, and then it gets into the. Yeah, I think this is the beginning. This is it. It is big. This is a guy 3-month rep. Yeah, it's the same words, but different music. For me, touch it.
You're going to listen?
Yeah.
Are you sure you'll get your back up? Just sit, London,
touch it myself and I don't know.
There's a restriction.
We have a lot of people, I mean, pretty much said, this is it. He said from, different than 1 o'clock. But they don't really know what's happening at that end. So it's a little group, but we're not, I think, allowed to go. We just have to only allow maximum.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, I think that we're okay for that. But you're coming down, there's some snacks.
Yeah, we'll come down.
And then you have to go and come back.
Yeah. You won't mind.
No, I understand.
But,
if you want to stay so far away. But, we'll see you downstairs.
Yeah, sure.
And what did they say to Agarbatti? Just put one Agarbatti.
I miss Lisa and Jay. Did you say hi to them?
Oh, they're here?
Yeah, but they gave me a card and I missed it back.
Oh, I didn't see them.
They were here. I saw them, but I didn't get to. I saw them.
Yeah, so I'll be one. Yeah, I'm okay, yeah. Is there six? Rowan, okay. Huh? Is T? I'm gonna turn off the slideshow now.
He didn't say anything, no?
He said on top of the caption.
I know Sonia is also gone. She's only experienced person.
It's okay. Yeah, but I didn't know. It's fine. It's
but it's on. Did he say it needs to be on? Then if he didn't say, we don't know.
And it's okay. That was
Yeah,
Of course, yes.
You can keep it in on me now.
Should I take the coconut out?
Joseph is sick. I told him he's going, right? Make sure you take it off that before.
Should I just take it out now?
So,
What did James say to break it? Did he say that you couldn't have it or if it's broken?
Actually, you can break it and then put it back in. Take it out and break it in.
Sure, okay, thank you.
It's not gonna hurt.
yeah, I know, but I don't think you should break it off.
It can't be inside.
I know.
Oh, we have extra? So, 3 would have worked?
Well, it's because people left before we could. We should have maybe made it a note before we start speaking, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'm going. I'll be there in the evening. Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you there. I'll be there. Bye. Sorry. I'll see you later. See you later.
So 1:45, time's at 1, right? So we have about 45 minutes actually.
Okay.
So Bobby, should I call him? Yeah. Audio?
Hi, Bhargava. So we did what you asked. Anything else? Thank you. Do you want me to put you on video and just show you Papa? Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the crematorium.
There's one right around the corner here, there's one there, and then downstairs there's
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm
I'm going to wait for mommy for that and then go. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess 3 would have worked. Anyway.
This way.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have it.
Downstairs. Oh, it's not finished.
No, like I don't know if they
Say goodbye.
Go down and have something, coffee or something. Oh.
Hi. Hello? Yes, we did the plunge. He had us put it in his mouth, and then he also had us put it around his body afterwards. He put some like green leaves, I can't remember what kind of leaves, on the mouth, and then he asked us to put some water. And then he asked us to put some gel on.
Were they watching? They're streaming there?
And there was some like balls, and we had to put, and then
What is that?
probably
Bodies?
things on it.
Oh.
I don't know what.
They were recorded.
No. Okay.
This one is for
Okay, I didn't know what, well, he's, like, is that something that is done for tradition? Okay. Okay.
That is maybe there is something leaking.
Okay, so then I'll leave it.
Otherwise,
You're not gonna look